Welcome to episode 80 of Timm Talk, the podcast about the DC animated universe co-created by Bruce Timm. I'm Chris Lord.
I'm Cameron Dexter.
And right up front, I apologize in advance if the audio is a little bit different. We're trying to get slightly more sophisticated here. I bought us some lovely pop filters.
Yeah.
So you're going to enjoy all those plosives today.
Yeah, get ready for them spit takes.
So the audio might be a little wonky as I work through that, so I apologize in advance. But hopefully it sounds better and not worse.
Yes.
I will find out soon.
Find new ways to click as I talk.
It's mostly how we communicate, actually.
Yeah.
It's just like clicks, winks.
Mm-hmm. We have our own system, so people outside don't really understand how nerdy we are.
No. Well, plus we can have whole separate conversations to each other.
It's true.
That don't get picked up by the microphone, and no one knows what we're talking about.
Right. Most people would start off with sign language. We're like, no, that's too complicated.
Well, we're very lazy people.
Yeah.
I feel like I should learn sign language at some point.
Me too. I have a friend that's about to become an interpreter.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and I've asked her to teach me some stuff. Besides, like, the curse words.
Well, those are the best ones.
Yeah.
To know. Or maybe it's just because now having seen A Quiet Place, I'm like, man, in the event of an apocalyptic scenario, I want to be prepared.
Right. Well, yeah, because I saw A Quiet Place and Rampage 3 days apart, and both of them deal with sign language. And
Really?
I feel like I'm really missing out. Yeah, because he's talking to the monkey.
Oh, that
To
would make
George.
sense.
George.
Oh my God! Please tell me you're going to talk about Rampage in
No,
plugs.
I'm not.
Okay, I want to know how
Very
bad it is.
disappointing.
I want to know how bad it is.
I went in
Cameron.
very critically.
Did you walk out and not like it immediately?
Right, yeah.
Wow, that's actually must be quite shitty then, because you infamously walk out loving everything.
Everything,
and
yeah.
it's only when time and reason.
Except
slip
for
back
the
in.
one movie that I texted you about this week, which still haunts me.
What movie did you?
So we are now, by the time this podcast comes out, 3 days away from Infinity War.
Yes.
Which is very exciting.
Oh my
I've been
God, I
trying
know.
to go back. I started way too late.
Oh, right.
I'm trying to go back and rewatch all of the other
previous-
Marvel movies. Yeah, the 10 years worth of Marvel movies, the 18 films.
18? Yeah, this is 19, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I have the DVDs of the first half. And
Do you have that, like, silver shield case? Oh, I have
No.
that.
Do you really?
I do. You can see it over there on the bookshelf.
I can't see it from this angle.
Well, you suck.
So I own the first half on up to Iron Man 3 on DVD.
Okay.
It's not even half anymore.
No, that's just phase one.
Yeah. And there's one trailer in front of Iron Man 2 in the DVD, in the Blu-ray version. And of all the fucking movies they could have chosen, it's the goddamn Last Airbender trailer. Which it isn't even, like, connected to Marvel or Disney in any sense.
Was it released by Paramount? Is that why? I guess it would have
must have been, yeah,
Yeah, it
because
must
it's
have been.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's why, because the Iron Man movies were released by Paramount.
I know, but I was so angry. Because, like, that's the only trailer in front of it. In most DVDs, they'll have, like, 3 or 4 trailers. This literally
it just
has
has the
one trailer.
Just to haunt you.
Just because, like, they have to know that I talk about it so much. They're like,
should we do that as an episode one day?
no,
Watch that movie?
never. I will never watch that film again.
What if we brought
Not even for comedy's sake.
What if we brought Shane on and we just shat on it for
You two
an
can
hour
watch
and a
it.
half?
It's still buried in my head. Like, it's
Buried?
still buried in my
Bird
head.
up in there.
Yes, it's branded to my brain.
Branded.
Stop it.
Yeah. Nice tie-in, given that we're
No.
talking about brands today.
Stop it.
You know, Nike, Adidas,
Our sponsors this week.
Lululemon. Yes, all of our sponsors. No, one of our 2 episodes was good this week, and it involved the branding iron.
It did.
And the other one involved Aquaman, and was really fucking terrible.
I always thought, because, like, most past Super Friends, most interpretations of Aquaman in animation are fun, in a sense.
Yeah, they're at least decent. And up to this point, pretty much every superhero crossover episode from Superman has been good.
Yeah.
Well, and Batman as well, but they're just generally better episodes. But yeah, like Green Lantern was good, The Flash was good. Like, at a minimum, they're fine, if not great. This was fucking terrible.
This was so boring.
Yeah, I really hated it. Like, watching this, I'm like, oh, you can absolutely skip this episode, because when we meet him in Justice League,
He's a
it's
completely different person.
Well, a completely different character, a much better introduction.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll get all into all that and how terrible it is. But
You know what it is? It's the
what?
hook hand.
He doesn't start off with a hook hand.
Yeah, but he gets better with the hook hand.
That's actually never liked hook hand.
Really? I love hook hand.
No, I don't know. I never liked it. I actually don't like the.
You're just not a fan of pirates?
No, I love pirates, man. I went to Pirate Time last
know you
weekend.
did.
I love pirates. I dressed up like one. No, I have never cared for that like late 90s, early 2000s version of Aquaman where he's got like the green pants, bare shirt, long hair, beard, and hook. I never liked that look. I actually really like the orange and green.
Dick, who's the Captain Ahab look.
Yeah, I never liked it. I always thought it was a little bit weird. It just, I don't know. So
I think it summarizes the 90s pretty well.
It really does, though. It fits.
Mm-hmm.
Just not a big fan of it. But then again, there's a lot of things from that decade that I'm just not a huge fan of.
Yeah.
You, mostly.
Just me.
Yeah.
Me and everything that I brought with it.
Absolutely. All the terrible things you have kept alive through your
Yes.
love of really terrible stuff from that era.
Super Duper Sumos will never die as long as I remember it.
What the hell is that?
Have I not talked about Super Duper Sumos on the show yet?
Somehow you haven't. You found a way.
Super Duper Sumos, which is just so much fun to say. It's a real show.
Of course
It was on Nickelodeon, I want to say from like 2004 to 2006.
Okay.
It had 2 seasons.
I'm looking
How
at
close
this.
was I?
2002, 2003.
Okay.
It ran for less than a year.
Good. That's all it needed. It was a Nickelodeon show about 3 sumo wrestlers who lived together that all had superpowers. And their superpower was being better sumo wrestlers.
What?
Yeah.
Like they couldn't like shoot lasers out of their eyes?
No, so
Or,
they were
teleport?
average level sumo wrestlers, but then like when trouble was afoot, they would all be like, "It's time to go super duper sumo," and they'd like bounce bellies, and they'd just become better sumo wrestlers.
I mean, kudos to them for, trusting each other and inspiring each other.
Yeah.
And helping elevate the whole group as one.
Yeah.
But also, I'm looking at pictures from this. It looks fucking terrible.
It was so great.
I mean, it's kind of funny because they're big fat guys. So they can barely fit into these shirts. So they're like,
Yes.
they're mostly unbuttoned.
Don't
and
worry.
They're basically wearing crop tops.
If you thought that was the only joke, you're right. That's the only joke through the whole series. It's basically like, what if we had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it was all oh god, which one? Donnie, no, Raph, no, Michelangelo.
Michelangelo?
Yeah. We just had 3 Michelangelos, but they weren't turtles, they weren't mutants.
They were just big old fat guys.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, hey, you know what? Maybe someday this will come back and they'll make a movie out of it.
Oh, dreams.
Did they do a crossover with the Fairly Odd Parents?
I don't think so.
Because I'm looking.
It's not a Butch Hartman show.
Maybe this is just an episode of Fairly Odd Parents where they just went sumo. Someone has superimposed the Super Duper Sumo's logo over Cosmo and Timmy as sumo wrestlers.
I think that's the episode, that Fairly Odd Parents episode. I think it's when Timmy wishes for no more vegetables in the world.
So everyone gets super fat.
Yeah. It was something like that. It was a bad episode.
But then we lose Brussels sprouts.
You like Brussels sprouts?
I love Brussels sprouts.
I love Brussels sprouts.
They need to be like sautéed though. I think for me, pretty much all like steamed vegetables are just kind of gross and disgusting. But if you like saute up some Brussels sprouts, like some olive oil, so the Hudson right around the corner, they do sauteed Brussels sprouts with like a spicy brown mustard and bits of bacon on it, which I think kind of undoes the fact that it's a vegetable.
Yeah.
But my God, it's one of my favorite things ever.
I think we're getting a little too far. We've crossed the non-nerdy threshold. We got to bring it back.
Somehow we found something more esoteric than Super Duper Sumos to talk about. All right, well, in an attempt
into news.
Attempt to bring it back around. So I guess we'll start with the non-DC news, and then we'll get into the completely pointless DC news.
Great.
So did you see the new Deadpool 2 trailer?
I did.
Looked fun.
Peter looks great.
Yes. Oh my God, Peter. That movie...
Get ready for everyone to be dressed as Peter at Comic-Con this year.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, it's so easy to do.
Yeah.
And he looks like everyone who goes to Comic-Con.
Exactly.
It just looks like tons of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watched the trailer yesterday and I was just like laughing all the way through. Like, some of the jokes are a little on the nose. Like, he makes a comment about it being so dark, this must be the DC universe.
Yeah.
But what I do love, though, is that, like, DC, like, clapped back at him. I don't know if you saw this.
I didn't.
So the Teen Titans Go, their movie Twitter, posted back a clip from the movie when it's Jon Stewart Green Lantern, and he says, "Oh, I had a movie once. We just don't talk about it."
Yes,
And
that
it was a reminder. Hey, Ryan Reynolds, before you were a Marvel, you were in DC too, buddy.
They posted that clip a few weeks ago.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because I remember seeing it
okay.
before. But yeah, it's good to bring that back up.
Yeah, I thought that was so brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hey, DC now has their own like hyper self-aware series with Teen Titans Go.
Yeah,
Maybe it'll be good. We
Let's
don't
hope
know.
so.
I want it to be good.
Me too. Mainly
Yeah.
because Nicolas Cage is playing Superman.
I cannot wait to see
Finally.
what that's like. Oh my god, it's gonna be.
Do you think So I want Kevin Smith to be in it, but I just want it to be him.
Just Kevin Smith as Kevin Smith.
I just want an animated Kevin Smith.
We've had that before.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Superman Doomsday.
Oh, that's right, we did.
Yeah, because he makes a comment about giant spiders, how dumb that is.
Mhm.
And, like, rolls his eyes and walks away. I'm like, yeah, Kevin Smith, it's real dumb.
Yeah, I just wanted to be in this movie as well.
Yeah, John Peters, you former hairdresser who then became a huge Hollywood producer who insisted on trying to put polar bears and robotic spiders into Superman Lives. Terrible idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's John Peters? I think it is. Let's go with it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
You've passed me.
I have a really great book. I read it a few years ago, but it's a whole book about failed versions of movies. So it talks about, I want to say one of them was a version of The Lord of the Rings that was going to star the Beatles.
Amazing.
Like
down.
like
100%.
stuff like that's in there. Or like they talk about Superman Lives too, but it's just like every kind of version of a movie that you either heard of or didn't know was a possibility of happening at some point. They talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool, actually.
That sounds
I might
awesome.
reread that at some point. It's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so actual news.
Mm-hmm.
2 bits of filmmaker-related news coming out of DC this last week. So there was one story that was huge and one that was much smaller.
Okay.
So the smaller one, you probably saw this, was that I guess they've tapped Kathy Yon, who's like a young director, a young female director, to do Birds of Prey. Or that she's in talks to do a Birds of Prey movie.
Okay.
So this is not Suicide Squad 2. This is not Gotham City Sirens.
Right.
This is not Joker and Harley.
This is not the Batgirl movie.
Right. But apparently there are 2 different scripts that are being worked simultaneously in typical modern Hollywood fashion.
Yeah.
Harley and Batgirl are the 2 consistent characters. Everyone else, I guess, it fluctuates depending on which version of the script it is. So I think to me that implies that maybe one version is more like Poison Ivy and like Catwoman. So the Sirens are out, and the other one might be more traditional Birds of Prey with Black Canary and Huntress. I have nothing to base that off of. It's pure speculation.
I mean, we've
But-
talked about this before. I'm just so exhausted talking about it at this point.
Well, this is kind of the thing. It's like, does this matter?
It doesn't.
Like, we have no guarantee these movies are actually going to get made.
It does matter because of the list we said before we even talked about the news. We've heard all of this already for
Yeah.
Sirens, Batgirl, Suicide Squad 2, Joker and Harley.
Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus 2, starring Joker, Harley,
Actually, it would be
Poison Ivy.
this. We haven't seen the remake of Hocus Pocus yet. That's in the works, but technically this would be the second reboot of Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
But yes, starring the Birds of Prey.
Yes.
Actually, hang on.
Not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea.
Mhm.
Warner Brothers, if you're listening, which we know you are,
Always. Keep a finger on the pulse of the fans.
come talk to us. We can work it out.
Mhm.
But it kind of doesn't matter
It
because
doesn't.
they
It's
just.
so exhausting. Like, I'm so tired already.
I know. They
Just like thinking of all of the dumb movies they've thrown out as fishing hooks.
Yeah.
Seeing what fans hook onto.
They just keep throwing stuff out. None of it's actually getting any sort of traction. It doesn't really matter at this point. I mean, it's impossible not to compare the 2 companies, but look at the way Marvel does this. They announce their movies, and they are confident. Like, we are the only movie they've ever announced that didn't happen was Inhumans,
Right. Which they turn into a series.
which they did. So it still manifested itself in some way.
Mhm.
But they have never been like, yeah, we're thinking about maybe doing a Howard the Duck movie. Like they're like, oh, we put
they
it
were
as a character.
the
but,
only
like,
one that was very on the fence like that was the Black Widow movie.
Oh, that's true. I guess that's the one that they've kind of gone back and forth a lot on.
Mhm.
But for the most part, they never were like, hey, this, like, if they're announcing, not necessarily writers, but directors, it's like, okay, we have a director on board for this. That movie is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the directors change. That is known to happen. But for the most part, they stick to their guns on this.
Yeah.
And DC doesn't. Now, the other news, this one you probably heard, was that Steven Spielberg has been tapped to help develop a Blackhawks movie.
I have not heard that, but that sounds awesome.
I saw it a lot because for work, I have a Google alert out on Steven Spielberg's name. Not related to this, obviously, but I had so many alerts that was just like in reference to Spielberg and specifically this. I'm like, guys, I'm interested, but I don't need to hear about this.
Yeah.
About 50 times a day. But do you know who the Blackhawks are?
How do you think I feel about any time there's a piece of Disney news that comes out?
Oh my God, yeah. Well, because then people send it to you, I'm sure. Yeah. No one sends me stuff other than Google.
Mm-hmm.
Just robots.
Yeah.
I spent a weird amount of time working with robots, actually.
That's fine. So do I.
So, do you know who the Blackhawks are?
No.
Okay, well,
They sound like Voltron.
so
Do
they
come together to make a giant robot?
the giant hawk, in fact. The giant hawk robot.
All right.
That's not true at all.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Then I have zero care for this.
They show up in, I'm pretty sure it's an episode of JLU. I vaguely recall an episode where they go to Black Hawk Island, which is like a floating island that has some old like military equipment. And I think that the Injustice Society is trying to steal something from there. And so they're a DC, kind of a lesser known DC brand. I'd say they're like maybe even D level, because I think they were more popular back when DC was doing a lot of adventure comics like Challengers of the Unknown and stuff like that. They make an appearance in New Frontier.
I've seen that logo
which you
before.
wouldn't know. But yeah, so I mean, it's about
Blue Falcon.
Blue Falcon.
Blue Falcon.
Is it Blue Falcon?
There is. He was a. Keep talking.
Okay. So, but they're so the movie that is in development, I guess theoretically, might be a like World War II era fighter pilot movie, but it would feature DC Comics characters. So I guess it would be one of those like weird offshoot kind of set in the universe sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that it's Spielberg too, because I mean, obviously he's a fantastic filmmaker. Like even when he's not putting that much effort in, he still delivers really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This could be good. I don't know if he's just going to produce it or direct it. It's in his wheelhouse, certainly, and I'm sure especially if he directs it, it'll have some personality. And it's something different, but it's kind of cool. I guess if DC actually makes this movie, I'll give them credit for pulling something a little more esoteric and leaning into a genre, basically just adopting the Marvel format. So, I don't know. Maybe it'll be a thing, maybe it won't. Who knows? Who knows
No
at
one.
this point?
Literally no one. Not even Warner Brothers.
Oh, they certainly don't know.
Yeah.
But also, Spielberg is attached to so many things. A lot of them he eventually ends up making, but other ones kind of fall on the wayside. Like he was attached to Robopocalypse for a long time, and now I think Michael Bay is doing it.
Good.
He was like,
Great.
well, whatever our interest they had is now gone.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much all I have news-wise, unless you have anything else you're really wanting to talk about before we talk about Fish.
No.
This is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
This is maybe one of my least favorite episodes of all of Superman. Maybe that's partly because I had high hopes because I do like Aquaman as a character.
I was so surprised when it was Aquaman. I know you'd mentioned it before, but I completely forgot when I watched it this morning.
Well, because so there's the whole, you could tell they didn't know what to do with this. Like, they didn't know what story to tell because there's rumors of all these fish attacks out at sea. So Lois and Jimmy go out with Bibbo to investigate, and they get attacked by first flying fish and then a pod of whales. Mm-hmm. And then Jimmy uses Superman watch. Cool little callback there. It's back. Finally had a reason. And Superman comes and fights some killer whales, and then eventually pulls the boat out of the water and takes off safety. Now, I will say, one small moment I liked a lot was the Jaws reference there. Did you catch it? Have you seen Jaws?
That's not important. To be fair, in my defense, I have one. There's a reason I haven't seen Jaws. It is my mom's least favorite film, and so she never let me even think about it.
Why? It's an amazing movie.
Because sorry to out you about this, Mom. She will not swim in the ocean anymore. Since that movie came out, she still refuses to go in the ocean.
That's not unfair. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people have said that. I guess it does like swimming in the ocean. If I can't see, that freaks me out. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm out in like clear tropical waters in Hawaii and I'm swimming around, I have no problem with that whatsoever. I've actually seen sharks while doing that, and like they're far enough off and they're little sharks. I'm like, I don't care. Like I can see them. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's the fear of the unknown. That movie absolutely exploits that.
Right.
But we should watch it at some point though, because honestly, it is incredible.
Okay.
Like there's a reason why it helped launch Spielberg's career. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Like an actual legitimate masterpiece. But there's the scene where Jimmy like slides down the sinking boat into the water. I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be a reference to Jaws.
Okay.
Which you wouldn't know.
No, that scene, I've seen like clips, and it's one of those movies where we talk about this a lot, where like they're the classic movies that I don't really need to see anymore. I'll still watch them, but I don't need to see them anymore because they've been parodied so much.
Yeah, I don't know if you don't need to see them anymore, but you don't need to have seen them to know the references.
Yeah.
It's like we're talking about this with The Shining in regards to Ready Player One, where they probably picked that because everyone knows enough about that without necessarily having seen it that it works.
Well, my biggest example was when I finally watched The Godfather, 24 and a half years late. The movie bored me because I'd seen every scene already. Because unlike Shining and Jaws, where they just take the iconic scenes and parody those, every scene of The Godfather has been parodied.
Yeah.
So I could tell you the exact story by pulling Simpson references, Family Guy references, Futurama references.
The film Mafia, starring Jay Moore.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that?
No.
I remember liking it as a kid. I don't think it holds up. I mean, it's that same sort of vein as like a scary movie sort of thing, where they loosely construct a plot based off of plot points from The Godfather, The Godfather Part 2, Casino, Goodfellas, and they just like recreate a lot of those scenes.
Yeah.
It's kind of stupid. I kind of want to watch it again though. Christina Applegate's in it.
Oh, why does that sound familiar?
She's Veronica Corningstone from Anchorman.
Got it. Thank you.
She's in tons of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Married with Children back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like Jaws moment, this episode is so dumb.
Yeah.
Because we know that fish are attacking, and so knowing, for me at least, that it was Aquaman, I assumed he was involved somehow. And then we start to get this idea that at like SeaWorld, there's some evil scientist working on something with Lex, because of course it's Lex, who we actually haven't seen
in a while,
in a long time. Really shitty like way to pull him back in.
Also, I don't know if you picked up on this, and it might have just been that I haven't seen him in a while, but they animated him to look so weird in this episode.
The animation across the board in this episode seems pretty weird.
He was so wide and like short compared to the other interpretations of him.
It didn't look good.
Yeah, him standing next to anyone just made him look really odd.
Yeah. And so at this point, we're like, okay, Lex is up to something. So maybe my thought was, and maybe you had a similar thinking, was that, okay, the animals that are attacking at sea aren't caused by Aquaman. They have been affected somehow by some sort of like weapons test. Like they're testing some sort of chemical or some sort of weird technology, and it's making all the animals go crazy. And Aquaman's going to appear as a way to try and save the animals.
Yeah.
No, it is Aquaman. I guess it's his way of trying to get attention because he's trapped inside of a water tank.
Here was my thought. My idea was, can other Atlanteans talk to fish?
I don't remember, actually.
I'm going to go with, in this story, yes.
Okay.
In this small 20-minute story, yes, they can.
And so they're trying to, like...
Because Aquaman does say that, like, the rest of Atlantis does want to start a war with the surface dwellers, and Aquaman's trying to not really, like, polish that over, but he's trying to, like, get all the facts before they go to war.
I feel like he was trying to shut down whatever instance was happening that was particularly pissing people off as a way to prevent war.
Yes.
But we also know that he is quite the warmonger.
Right.
Especially in the DCAU.
Mm-hmm. And really any interpretation. Except Brave and the Bold, because that's my favorite interpretation.
Oh, okay, Brave and the Bold. I was also going to say...
Outrageous.
I was also going to say in Justice League when he's just like, chill surfer dude.
Yeah.
Which is... Like,
amazing.
Still, it just goes to show how bent that whole movie is, that is an entirely inaccurate representation of Aquaman, and he's still one of the best parts in it.
Yeah. Well, that's such an interesting thing about just the Aquaman character, is how much he's changed, at least in the past like 15 years.
Have you read the Jeff Johns New 52 Aquaman run at all?
I remember reading the first like 3 or 4 issues.
It's like it's like the trench is one of the storylines where there's like the carnivorous monsters that live down in the deep trench of the water, and it builds up to Throne of Atlantis. I think I did read that if I recall. I'm trying to remember how the timing of that works, because I think in the New 52, I want to say like the Dark Side invasion was the first thing that happened that brought all of them together, and then I think Aquaman was part of that story arc, and then the second Justice League arc was Throne of Atlantis, and then I think when they came to do the movies, they just kept Aquaman out of the Dark Side thing and brought him in for Throne of Atlantis. I don't remember exactly, but it's actually a pretty good story, and it's a good version of Aquaman. Like it touches enough on the fact that he's a little bit silly as a premise, but it treats the character seriously while acknowledging that to an outsider it could be very ridiculous.
Yeah.
But no, he's pretty good at that, and Mara's really good in that.
I've always really liked Mira.
Yeah.
And in really pretty much any interpretation, she always is the scene stealer.
She's one of the reasons I'm actually looking forward to the Aquaman movie.
Yeah.
So I think that's really good casting, and the brief moment she had in Justice League was pretty good.
Who did they cast as her again?
Amber Heard.
That also sounds familiar.
She's done a lot of stuff.
I guess I can just look her up.
She was the
Not just rely on you.
zombified hot neighbor from Zombieland. So obviously not the main character, but like, what's the Tallahassee? Was that his? No, Columbus. Columbus's neighbor, like dorm room neighbor. I want to say she was in the Rum Diaries. Like, sadly, what she's kind of known for at the moment was divorcing Johnny Depp because he's an abusive monster.
Okay, yeah, she looks familiar.
Yeah, but I like her.
Kills, 3 Days to Kill, Justice League.
She's done some like
Danish Girl.
She's like Drive Angry with Nicolas
Magic Mike
Cage.
XXL. Why did you start with that one?
I haven't seen Magic Mike XXL.
Neither have
actually.
I.
We should watch that.
That's gonna be the next episode.
I think it should be. Yeah. Next BFC movie night, we're gonna watch Magic Mike XXL, which I've heard is just a lot of fun, which is all I really want.
Oh.
What? Oh God! What terrible! Oh no! Wait, hang on. I know what she's in. She is in the classic film, one of Cameron's favorite movies, Never Back Down.
She's the love interest in Never Back Down. Oh, amazing.
And to be fair, I only know that because I was working for a bit at a production company, and they made that movie, and they had a poster on their wall of Never Back Down.
God,
I walk past it like 5 times a day because I pee a lot.
Steal it for me?
I probably could actually just go back and grab it off the wall.
Oh man,
no one would be upset that it was gone.
What a great film! If you want to see the peak of cinema, go and watch Never Back Down.
Cam Higante? I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but isn't he in that too?
I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is Dajimon Hansu, whatever his name is.
Oh, Jimon Hansu?
Yeah.
I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but he's great though. He's amazing. A really good actor.
Yeah, you're right. Cam Gigandet.
Gigandet. That's how you pronounce it. Yeah. Oh. God, oh, classic. Absolutely classic. Well, that's where you know her from, Cameron.
Yeah, that's where I know her from.
Look forward to seeing her again later on this year.
Thank God.
But
you know what I've been missing in my life? A Never Back Down reunion.
Yeah, we should watch that too.
I would. Oh, in a heartbeat.
I'm sure you would, yeah. Are you afraid it won't hold up, though?
No, because I watched Never Back Down too, and that already broke me.
Oh, okay.
Did you know they made a sequel to Never Back Down?
I think I knew that, but only because I know you.
Never Back Downer?
It's a much more depressing version. It gets into like the nitty-gritty depressing side of mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Aquaman.
Such a downer.
Oh god.
So Aquaman. So yeah, so I guess Lex is just testing bombs on the ocean floor. Mm-hmm. And Aquaman's trying to stop him, and
because he's getting close to Atlantis.
Yeah, because I guess it's near Atlantis, which was still ambiguous as to how.
How
close
about
it was.
Aquaman? How about you just tell him where Atlantis is so they don't put their bombs there?
I mean, he could do that. Although then, would he want Lex to know where? I don't think he wants anyone to know where Atlantis is specifically. But also, if they know it exists, I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to find.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we just got to go search like the Atlantic Ocean for like an underwater city, and the easiest way to navigate in water is sonar anyway. So I feel like you would just use sonar detectors and eventually be like, oh, there's like this concentrated spot where there's like a whole bunch of like noise and like humming coming from what one presumes is like their massive mechanical submarines and stuff. Let's just go there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do, to be fair, all of their mechanical stuff does look like fish.
Well, yes, but the whole point of sonar is that it's
Yeah,
going
no, I
to
know.
sound.
They can make it sound like a whale because the main ship doesn't just look like a giant. The main sub was just a giant whale.
Yeah. So eventually Superman and Aquaman like disable the test, and Aquaman shows up atop an Atlantean submarine with a whole army. Where was that army to then just stop the weapons test?
Or to break him out of
Yeah,
the
tube.
Sea World.
Yeah, the fish tank
Yeah.
they were keeping him in. It seemed like they were trying to pull like a lot of reference points from things. Like when they're doing the underwater weapons test, they had all those like crab walking like submarines with claws in the front. Remind me a lot of the old Thunderbirds TV show, where it's like really cool designs for things would be entirely impractical. And they're constantly falling apart. That's why the Thunderbirds have to come save them.
Yeah.
It looked like that a lot. I thought it was really weird too. Why does Lex have branded supervillains, like henchmen, like supervillain henchmen?
Because why not?
Because he has goons. We see
Yeah.
him with goons all the time. But these guys are in like full on red and black jumpsuits with helmets and goggles. They look like Hydra agents basically, and they have the giant LexCorp logo on the front of it.
Yeah.
So are they trying to do some sort of like weird James Bond sort of thing?
Here's my
I
guess.
Get it.
He's going so obvious that there's no way someone that smart would do something so stupid. So anytime the authorities come to him, it's like, Mr. Luthor, these men who doing illegal activities are wearing your brand. It's like, well, clearly
they're infringing upon your trademark.
Yes, the mastermind behind this is trying to frame me by putting his goons in my goons' uniforms.
We figured it out.
Yeah.
It all makes sense now.
He's going so obvious that no one would even believe how easy it was.
It's just, oh my God.
No, yeah, you're actually right. He would put up a copyright lawsuit against these guys.
He would
like,
sue
how
them.
dare they steal my logo?
I mean, he's totally fine leaving his own men to die. He would absolutely sue them to prove that
it wasn't
he's
him.
not the villain here.
Yeah.
Even though he just like, I feel like everyone just knows he does this sort of shit now.
I think they do.
Yeah. I don't even know.
But they still elect him president.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Oh, man. Fiction. It's all fiction. Don't worry.
Thank God these things can't happen in real life.
I know. Thank God.
Okay, another small moment I have to touch on that I thought was so dumb.
Jimmy's driving.
Jimmy's driving, which I feel like he's old enough to
Right.
He's like 17.
He's like 19.
He's like 17, 18, yeah. Like maybe he's just like a late bloomer. But
I wrote...
He would have to be 15. You'd have to be less than 16 to have a learner's permit. You can only, like, if you're over 16, you just get like a professional license.
Yeah.
So he's like 15 and a half?
I guess so.
What?
Sure, whatever.
What?
He doesn't have a Pulitzer yet. So
That's true. Yeah, no. He'll get that in like 2 more years.
I wrote in my notes of, can we stop the Jimmy sideline? It's really boring. And once I got to the end of the episode, I'm like, I would have rather watched Jimmy learn to drive than finish this episode.
That would have been a much better episode.
Because there's only, I guess, like a 5-minute side story, not 5, maybe like a 2-minute side story of Jimmy trying to find a place to park.
At SeaWorld.
And that was more entertaining than most of the Aquaman moments.
Well, because there's a lot going on there, actually. There's layers to that.
There is.
It's him learning how to drive. It's him trying to find a parking spot in a crowded space. It's him learning how to drive stick.
Well, really, I think it's a message about his insecurities.
It really is, though.
Because
actually,
he can't make him, like, not finding a parking spot is his inability to make a decision.
Yeah. It's him not knowing what his place is in this world. Is he just a sidekick? Is he just there to help out Lois? Where is Lois? Like, what is he supposed to do without guidance?
Right. And it's like the people honking at him are who's the boss of the Daily Planet?
Perry White.
Yeah. I mean, the honking was just Perry White's voice, just like yelling at him.
Yeah.
To find what he needs, because Perry can't tell him where to park. He has to find his own parking spot. Perry can only push him to find a better spot.
Oh, man. You know, we did not give this episode enough credit for the real deep metaphorical character arc that they give Jimmy.
I'm really excited to see him come back as a new fleshed out character in the next episode.
When he's actually had enough time to learn how to drive. And now he's off into the city trying to figure out how to deal with like one-way streets and hills and stuff. It's gonna be a very deep emotional journey for all of us.
So here's on a serious note. We usually make the comment that episodes that this, on a surface level, this is the episode that we asked about. We wanted a story about Jimmy and Lois and X.
Yeah.
And we didn't want Superman to be the main character.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't.
Yeah,
Superman
he's
played a very,
background.
very small part in this episode.
Yeah.
To the point where we don't even see him disarm the bombs.
No, he just like throws them on the ground like, don't worry, I took care of it.
I got everything done. Don't worry. No need for a fight.
I'm the best.
This is what we've been asking for weeks.
Technically, yes.
Is we want a Jimmy and Lois focused episode where they're doing kind of detective work,
Mm-hmm.
and Superman isn't, and they solve problems through detective work and not just through Superman's brute strength.
Yeah, or by riding a motorcycle.
Right.
So we got it. We got
did.
what we asked for.
All right.
Man, we should never ask for anything ever again.
We really need. It's the genie's wish where we have to be very specific about our wish.
Oh,
or they're gonna find the loophole.
The Monkey's Paw,
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
or the feature film Bedazzled, starring Elizabeth Hurley and Brendan Fraser.
Oh, well, now that Brendan Fraser's in it, I feel like I have to see it.
Yeah, you've never seen Bedazzled?
I haven't.
Oh man,
I'm just gonna go through all of Brendan Fraser's
Oeuvre.
videography.
Yeah, I don't remember it being particularly good.
It's fine.
I think I watched like the original version with, was it Dudley Moore? Doesn't matter.
Do we have any more notes on this?
Doesn't
episode?
matter. No, it just ends too. It just
Mm-hmm.
like it ends with Atlanteans destroying Lex's tanker,
Mm-hmm.
him flying off, and then him be like, "You watch your back, Superman. You surface dwellers.
Yeah.
Okay, bye."
Also, so one more point I want to bring up about this. He already declares to everyone around him that he's the king.
Yeah.
And then some fucking goon is like, I think I can kill him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's the whole point, right? It's like, oh, us brash surface dwellers that even when we could walk away from a fight, we still have to do it. And then, yeah, it was so dumb.
One more small point, and then we're done talking about this.
Okay.
Did they get rid of every other power that he has besides talking to fish? Because
So-
he does not have super strength in this episode.
Oh no, because he couldn't break through the chains.
Yeah.
I guess not. And we don't really see him swim a lot.
No. It looks like he could swim faster than a normal person.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and he can like convince a shark to pretend to eat Lois and then drag her around like a puppy.
Yeah. So they only use his can communicate with fish.
This
But that's not even true because he also communicates with seagulls.
Well, creatures of the sea.
Right.
It is there in the
Any
name,
creature
Cameron.
that has sea in its name. Clearly, he has control. He has domination
Seagulls,
over.
sea lions,
Mhm.
sea anemones,
I mean-
seals. Technically, it's in there.
Yeah, that's true. You got it.
It's real dumb. I had one more moment I wanted to mention when he like throws a trident through the side of the tanker and it pins Lex's hand against the wall, and then Lex just like steps outside and it was like no big deal.
Yeah.
It's a really impressive aim,
hmm
and it did nothing.
From a trident that we had not seen anywhere in the episode before.
No, but it's fine because he just probably grabbed it from one of his Atlantean soldiers.
Yeah.
Dumb,
was
terrible
dumb.
episode. We can
Sure.
pretend this episode doesn't exist and just meet him in an awesome fashion, Justice League, and not in the back of a truck
Right.
tied up like we do in this episode. Jesus Christ, it's terrible.
All right.
But-
move on to into the better episode.
But I will say that I liked the Etrigan episode quite a bit.
I did. I love Etrigan.
Yeah.
He appears a lot in Justice League.
So I was going to ask you because I also love him, but I have read, I think, one comic maybe that he actually has an appearance in. So like, where did your love for the character come from?
From these shows.
It's so true though, right?
It's from Justice League and
in JLU, he appears there a little bit.
yeah,
And
JLU.
then, is he in Brave and the Bold?
He's in Brave and the Bold
Okay.
a little bit.
Isn't that is kind of funny to like that we're now revisiting this stuff, that there's a lot of times I come across a character that in the same way, like I love them because of their appearance in especially Justice League.
Yeah.
And like, oh, like I mean kind of like Aquaman too. Or even like Green Lantern. I kind of first discovered Green Lantern through Justice League.
Oh yeah, I did too.
And then we're like, oh yeah, we love them, but for later on when they're done better.
Yeah.
But he's actually done pretty well here. I think he gets more to do. We learn more about him by the time we get to Justice League. But I think for a one-off episode that introduces the character, this one's pretty solid, actually.
It also introduces the whole world of magic.
Yeah,
So I was trying to think because I wrote down in here like, when's the last time we saw magic in Batman?
we
haven't.
We haven't. No, because we had Zatanna, but she was treated as just an illusionist there. We never saw
Right.
her do actual
The
magic.
closest we have to magic is Roz.
Yeah, that's true. I guess. Oh yeah. I guess the one instance we've seen before was
yeah.
there's like that mummy in the tomb. It's not the first episode with Roz,
Yeah, the second
not the
Roz.
Demon's Quest, but whatever that other one was. So I guess that was technically the first use of magic in Batman, and then in Superman, I think the only instance so far in Superman was with Doctor Fate.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because even like Mixius Pit, like those are
I
like more like
completely-
cosmic
Have we seen
powers.
Dr. Fate already?
Yeah, there was an episode where everyone on the Daily Planet got turned into like those weird phantasm-looking floating monster things with tentacles coming out of their mouths, and they like get turned into horrible, hideous creatures, and they like
If I knew you weren't being serious, I feel like you'd be making fun of me.
like bust
for
out of
liking
their
anime.
skin. Like they just like the alien, like the creatures like burst out of the normal people's like skin and clothing, and then they just like magically get transformed back to their old state. Like Lois becomes like this horrible like squiddy looking monster, like
It sounds.
very Cthulhu-esque.
It's really upsetting because I know I've seen this and I know
Yeah.
he talked about this.
Yeah,
But I have literally no memory of it.
it's fine. It wasn't a particularly good episode. Again, Dr. Fate,
Okay.
great when we meet him in Justice League, not so much in Superman.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the first.
Did I have to do art for Dr. Fate?
Did you do art for Dr. Fate?
No, because I went through my files yesterday and I cleaned everything up
Oh, okay.
just to make it a little easier for me.
Okay.
And yeah, I never saw art for Fate.
I guess you never did it then.
It's really upsetting.
I don't know. But I
I'm
guess we
letting
get to see
myself
some,
down.
some real fancy Aquaman art this week.
Oh, don't worry.
And some Etrigan art too.
You're gonna get the hook hand and then the brand.
But yeah, this is one of the more prominent uses. Like it's the first episode that's really about magic. I would say that even that Roz episode, that's kind of a subplot element to what's more of an adventure story.
Yeah.
This is a full-on magic thing, and I think they actually do a pretty good job with it.
I think they do because Timm is the voice of the audience.
Yes,
Because everything he says is what we're thinking. Like, what is happening?
what the fuck is going on?
Why do you know how to do this?
And I think one of the things that I love is with Batman, you can throw something weird at him and have him already know it's there and believe it. Batman's the kind of guy who would know that magic is a thing. He's the kind of guy who would have met and formed a friendship with Jason Blood at some point. We're not surprised when these sort of things happen.
Right.
They seem a little more weird with Superman.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that Dr. Fate episode, like, they had some sort of history, and you kind of felt like, shouldn't this be the episode where you guys meet? Just because even the way we meet Superman is we see his introduction to the world. So we know that he has, history outside of the episodes we've watched, but he doesn't have a past in the same way.
Right.
Whereas Batman was already operating by the time we meet him. And he just knows this sort of shit. Because throughout the entire episode, weird stuff keeps happening to him, and they keep throwing more and more stuff at him, and he never acts like he's over his head. Like, he starts turning into, like, a tree.
and he still bitch slaps.
He still bitch slaps the kid.
Carry on. Not
Clarion.
Clarion, thank you.
Claire and the Witch Boy. Yeah, nothing phases him, which is pretty great. I also love in that opening sequence when Clarion and Jason Blood are outbidding each other for that branding iron.
it's such a
and
dick move.
And Bruce just steps up, big swinging dick that he is, and just like $1 million.
Yeah. I'm done.
Yep, done my thing. Hang on, I think I have that in my wallet. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. I have the cash here somewhere. Alfred has it in the car.
Yeah, I do love these episodes too because the background audio is oftentimes really fun. So I don't know if you caught this, but Clarion makes his bid of like $100,000, just like 10x the opening bid. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, that's crazy!" And then Jason chimes in with 110, and you can hear someone like, "Oh, someone else is interested."
Yeah.
in this?"
Someone else wants this random thing.
the background voices are always really good.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I wanted because we made a joke earlier that everything that I brought with the 90s you hate. This is the most 90s intro ever. Like opening scene.
At the auction.
Before the auction, it's Bruce and Timm walking through the back exhibit and Tim's like, "All right, I've seen the old stuff.
Oh,
Can I
yeah.
go play video games now?"
He doesn't even say video games.
He just says videos
Can I
now.
play those videos now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I go watch some MTV?
Yeah, and I'm like,
TRL's coming on
this
soon.
is the most 90s intro and I love it.
Oh god, it really was. Well, I'm trying to keep away from those goddamn things.
Yeah.
Oh, it's it's kind of ridiculous. But what did you think of Clarion, the Witch Boy, and his weird little cat Tickle?
He has been the exact same in every representation of him, which I think is kind of awesome.
Yeah, he's just he's just a little shit.
Yeah, and I kind of love that.
I do
Like this
too.
interpretation of him is the exact same one we see in Young Justice, which is the exact same one we see in Brave and the Bold.
Yeah.
Which I don't think he never made an appearance in Teen Titans. He might have been in Teen Titans Go.
I don't know.
He seems like someone who would be in Teen Titans Go.
He does, and you can see them like just really ripping him to shreds.
Yeah.
Because he's just what I think works for me with him is that he is legitimately intimidating. Like just because he is so creepy, and
and so powerful.
and so powerful. I mean, actually, credit to the writers. That opening auction scene does establish his credibility that he has that kind of money to throw around. And he is so like creepy, but he's also so petulant and so whiny.
Yeah.
So that when he does just like, oh, I want ice cream, we kind of believe that he would use a demon to go get himself ice cream.
He is, oh God, what was the guy's name? In the Richie Rich movie, the live action movie. Don't you dare.
I really like that movie.
Oh, I think you say you've never seen it.
No, of course I've seen
I'm
it.
like,
I really like that
all
movie
of the
growing
shit
up.
you've given me, you've never seen Richie Rich.
Oh, like his foil at the academy?
Yes, when he wishes that he didn't exist. The kid that takes over as the new son of Richie Rich.
Cameron, hang on 1 second. Which Richie Rich movie are you referring to?
The live action one.
But you're not referring to the live action one starring Macaulay Culkin, because that does not involve wishes. That involves John Larroquette trying to steal valuables from Mount Richmore.
Right. No, I'm talking about the Christmas movie.
Jesus Christ, Cameron.
Richie Rich's Christmas Wish.
You have become self-parody in this exact moment. Because I assume you were talking about like the 90s Richie Rich movie starring Macaulay Culkin that I still have a soft spot for because I think it's actually like a fun, whimsical ride. But no, you're referring to Richie Rich's Wish.
Christmas Wish,
which I'm sure
also in the 90s.
No one has seen.
How dare you? It's so good.
Okay, it would have been a stretch that I had seen the Macaulay Culkin one. You're talking about an entirely different one, probably starring like the kid from Dennis the Menace or something like that, who no one remembers.
David Gallagher.
Who the fuck is that?
I don't know. Also, Michelle Trachtenberg's in it, and Eyebrows from American Pie's in it.
Eyebrows?
You know what I'm talking about. The dad.
Oh, Eugene Levy.
Yeah, I can remember his name.
Wait, does he play Richard Rich?
No. He plays one of the servants that is helping him.
Oh my god! You also realize the only reason they named this movie Richie Rich's Christmas Wish is because it like is borderline lyrical, right?
Yeah,
in the title.
I know.
Who? Oh god damn it! Why do you make me hate myself sometimes? Oh, okay. David Gallagher. Oh, he was Seventh Heaven. Okay. Oh, I mean, it's got Martin Mull. I do love Martin Mull. Leslie Ann Warren. Oh my god, I love her.
I think it's the mom.
Yeah, she is the mom. Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yep.
And no one else of note.
Right.
No, I was thinking of in the real Richie Rich movie.
Yeah, it's fine.
That there's like, it's a kid's movie, so it's like his foil at the academy who is like all stuck up. I think they get like a fencing battle at some point. I'm pretty sure it's the same kid who played the little Weasley guy in The Little Rascals.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, both of those characters remind me of Clarion, the witch boy.
Great. I'm glad you agree with me.
God damn it. But, there are some kind of like silly-esque moments, but I think they kind of work. So one of the ones I'm thinking of, for example, is when Batman finally gets the brand from Clarion. He just holds it above him so Clarion can't grab it. And I would believe that in that moment, Clarion would jump up and down and try and grab it and not actually think to use his spell. I believe that he would be just like so caught up in being like whiny and be so upset that someone was defying him.
Oh, yeah.
But I could buy that happening.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And so, I mean, this episode does what I think a lot of intro to character stories, I'm not saying this the right way, in the same way that like all of the Marvel Phase 1 movies are the hero up against like a evil version of themselves.
Yeah, the evil doppelganger.
That's basically what happens here, but I think it kind of works because they do separate out Etrigan from Jason Blood. And it's also a short story, like a shorter thing, so it kind of works.
Most of the Magic episodes are basically fighting mirrors. But it is a little. I mean, I wouldn't consider this a mirror because this is kind of. I don't see Etrigan and Clarion as the same.
No, but
I see the mirror being Clarion and Dr. Fate because that's usually the one that I see more.
I think it's more of that idea of the hero having to go up against a corrupted version of the same power that made him a hero in the first place.
Okay.
So in this case, it's Batman having to go up against an evil version of Etrigan, right? But it's kind of the same idea of like, oh, right, the power that made whatever it was that made this person a hero can be corrupted, and then you have to fight that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I did love that Batman just like jumped into it head first. Like, I'm just gonna go fight this thing, and you believe that even if he doesn't know what he's doing, he's gonna tell no one that. He's just gonna go and figure it out as he goes. He's gonna get turned into like a little spiky ball and a tree. I did like the duplication spell that Jason Blood did. He pulled he pulled up the crystal and spun it, and like all of them duplicated. And that even what I liked about that was that whole dynamic was kind of cool. That Batman is off fighting, and he just trusts that Jason has got his back in the background,
right? And
he's improvising as he goes along. So when he gets duplicated, he uses that as a distraction to try and like sneak away and I guess regroup and reattack.
Yeah, really
clever, actually. Also, did you catch the reference to the Kirby's cake store?
I did, to Jack Kirby.
I know, it's
creator of Etrigan.
I know, fun little thing thrown in there.
With the clones, what I really loved is when they exploded, they turned into bats.
Little fluttering bats.
Yeah,
it's real fun. It just, again, an episode that has a lot of strength in the details, but the overall plot hangs together pretty well, and the characters are really well done.
Yeah, there was only one detail. Just because like I didn't understand why they had it there, was the Batman scales the side of a building. So he's at least like 20 stories in the air, and he turns a corner and there's a sign that like slows him down, which says "No Through Road."
Oh yeah,
on the side of a building, 20 stories in the air.
I forgot that he was up in the air when that happened.
Yeah,
which then I feel like when they reverse the camera back, he's back on the street again.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay, I'll give you
I think they also kind of forgot where he was.
I think they lost themselves geographically.
Yeah. But also with Magic, you're always just like,
whatever. We'll just
you kind of forgive that kind of stuff in a Magic-themed episode.
Yeah. No, we'll just kind of go along with it. But no, I like Etrigan a lot.
And you also had a sense of, like, panic or, like, a sense of urgency while this whole thing is going, because every time it cuts back to Jason Blood, he does get visually much older.
Yeah.
Which in their case is just making him lose more hair.
Yeah. Less and less hair.
Yeah.
Slightly more hunched over. The occasional liver spot.
Yep.
What did you think of Clarion's weird transforming cat, Teakle?
Not a fan.
No?
Well, because Teakle is the true Lord of Chaos, right?
That's what I thought. I remember reading that somewhere.
At least in Young Justice, that's what they.
Oh, okay, that's what I remember it from. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was it's the actual cat's the powerful one, and the Clarion's kind of his
like servant,
puppet.
or not servant.
Vessel.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I don't think they. I feel like that might have been like a New 52 change.
Okay.
Because in this version, it's definitely not like that. Teakle is definitely the servant.
Yeah, Teakle's a henchman, a weird hench lady.
Hench cat.
Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did love, though, that when Batman is able to retrieve the brand, he hits Teakle in the head with it, leaving a mark, and then he controls her. He tells her to sit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. He's so cool.
I know. What was the other thing about that? The way they animated Teakle was really fascinating because
the cat or the cat lady?
The cat lady. Human Teakle. Because, like, her movements were so inhuman, how she got around. Yeah, like she walked and ran normal. Like when she was fighting Batman, they would kind of like put her weight. They would distribute her weight in such awkward and uncomfortable angles. And that's one of the few fights where I believe that Batman would have lost that fight.
Yeah,
because he's never had to fight that kind of creature before.
Yeah, they can move and contort in these weird ways. I guess they did a pretty nice job of mimicking what like the musculature and the movement of a cat would be like in a human form.
Because clearly Batman has a lot of practice fighting cat-themed villains.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what I thought at first. I thought Tico was going to transform into Catwoman as kind of like a distraction tactic.
Oh, that could have been interesting.
But like Batman has fought cat-themed things before.
Yeah. Catwoman, Catman, giant cats.
Yeah.
Catwoman as a Catwoman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got all the bases covered.
Lions.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a tiger thrown in there somewhere.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was really cool to like he knows like a humanoid cat, but not a cat humanoid. And doesn't work the other way, does it?
Anthropomorphized cat?
Sure. Yeah. Let's go with that.
Even I'm skeptical of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for him to come back around. We both attempted at the last minute to try and do like a little bit of research on Etrigan.
It's too much.
I feel like it's a really convoluted character. So the only comic I've ever read with him was actually a Batman Beyond comic. And I won't say how Etrigan makes an appearance.
Well, he's immortal.
Yeah, but like it's interesting how they draw him into the story and how they use him. It's actually very clever. But we were talking about this before the podcast started. In that version, he speaks in rhymes, and Etrigan doesn't hear. I feel like he
does in Justice League.
I seem to recall him doing that in Justice League. Yeah. And you know me, I'm a sucker for characters that talk in rhymes. In
the brief research that we did beforehand, one of my favorite things was, and the wiki page, the New 52 Etrigan. He is a rhyming demon, and in parentheses it said, who is not good at rhyming. Like, amazing.
Well, every character has to have their flaws.
Right. Major character flaw.
Yeah.
He's the demon of rhymes who cannot rhyme.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, the Riddler's whole shtick is riddles. He's not particularly good at them.
That's also true.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty good at them. Only one person can solve them.
Yeah, I guess.
I think it's a pretty good riddle. If 1 in 7 billion people can only... I guess 2 in 7 billion can figure it out.
Yeah.
I'd say that's pretty good. Pretty good. Probably 3. I bet Question could answer them.
Oh man, the Question.
I'd love to see the Question go up against the Riddler.
That actually would be really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. They could have a conversation about colorful suits.
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd watch a 30-minute conversation between the two of them. Just talking about their fashion choices. I'm on board.
Be amazing. Yeah, so we are very excited. Because are you a big fan of Arthurian legend?
Not particularly. I can't say that it's something that I will seek out content for.
Okay.
I take it you are.
I am.
Okay.
Because I did go see Guy Pearce's King Arthur movie last year.
Wait,
not Guy Pearce.
Yeah, Guy Pearce is the actor. Guy Ritchie?
Guy Ritchie, thank you.
To be fair, I could totally see Guy Pearce being in a King Arthur movie. He probably has been.
Probably.
It was terrible, right?
I enjoyed it.
Oh, well. So it was terrible. Got it. Yeah.
When I walked out of the movie, I didn't like it.
Wow.
Because it's such a weird tone. I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but that was a year ago, so I'm going to talk about it again.
Yeah.
The tone was set up to be almost like a heist film, like a
okay.
medieval heist.
That's so dumb.
Because it's him trying to retrieve the sword.
Yeah.
And it does not work.
No, I can see
because
that.
it goes from like these long, like Lord of the Rings-esque shots of like these beautiful scenes and this dialogue, and then they'll place that right next to these Ocean's 11 style quick cuts and like sliding transitions and like 3 images in one frame kind of shot. You know exactly what shots I'm talking about.
Yeah, all done to like a Dropkick Murphys montage.
Yes, exactly. It'll be like these drums playing, and then it'll switch to this like boom 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 boom.
Yeah, you know, they're shipping off to Boston, even though Boston doesn't fucking exist yet.
Right.
Yeah, no, I didn't bother with it. I've never seen that. I've never seen the Clive Owen one from back in the day. I've never seen The Sword in the Stone, actually, the Disney film.
It's okay.
Or is it The Black Cauldron? Are those 2 different things?
They're 2 different things. Yeah.
Okay.
Sword in the Stone was 1963. Black Cauldron. Black Cauldron 1984.
Shows what I know. But no, like, I've never been that drawn into it. I think it's kind of like Shakespeare for me, where I think that you can pull interesting content from some of those like broader themes and story arcs and do some cool stuff with it. But I'm not necessarily going to go out of my way to go see something that's like a direct adaptation of something Arthurian.
I love Arthurian legend. And I think it stems back to like one of my early films that I remember watching was Quest for Camelot.
What's that?
Early DreamWorks.
Oh, okay.
No, not even before DreamWorks even existed.
I was about to ask if it's animated, but
It is animated.
Yeah, I know the answer to that already.
Yeah. Was it Fox Animation?
What if they made a third Never Back Down film that was animated?
Oh God!
What
Don't
if
even
like an
tease me
anime
like
style
that.
Never Back Down.
Don't
movie?
even tease me like that. They did, not really, but there was an anime.
What?
No.
Well, I'm sure there's an MMA anime.
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
It's just fun to say.
Mm-hmm. MMA anime.
MMA anime. Anime.
Mm-hmm. I can make a list if you want me to put that in the bat plugs for you.
No, that's fine. I think we're good without that.
Greatest Warrior Kenichi. Great show, guys.
It's
only 70 episodes.
Do you have bat plugs?
I have a bat plug. Because
Okay.
like you, I've been very busy this week.
Yeah, it was hellish.
Mm-hmm.
No time.
Yeah, I did also mention before that like I am trying to plow through the Marvel Cinematic Universe before Infinity War.
So how far are you?
3 movies.
So that's right. You just finished Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
So you have
15 more to go.
And you have 5 days.
I have 4
no,
days.
Less than that because you're at
4
Disney
days,
all
yeah.
weekend.
I'll be at Disney after this and Sunday. So I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning, I guess.
Well, it's a good thing you can just like have these running in the background while you work.
Yep. But no, my plug is I found this YouTube series, which is so entertaining. It's a Funny or Die series. And I feel like Funny or Die has kind of been dwindling these past few years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to see them kind of back in like really funny territory. But they've been taking plots of kind of the forgotten sitcom episodes of the 80s and 90s and bringing them back to light of how messed up some of the storylines are.
Okay, yeah, I think I saw one of these the other day.
Yeah, one of my favorite ones is, do you remember DJ Tanner had an eating disorder?
Oh, God.
In Full House. But they took it to the next level with this one because they have a whole series. They're into season 2 of Zach Morris's Trash. So if for our fans that have watched Saved by the Bell, I recently watched every episode because it came on Hulu. Oh my God. All 8 seasons. I think there were 8 seasons, maybe 6 seasons. Too many. My brain was mush. Zach Morris is a horrible person.
Yeah.
And so Funny or Die has these 5-minute videos that bring to light all of the horrible, horrible, horrible things Zach Morris has done at his time in high school and in college because he does go to college.
Oh my God. Oh, that's right. They did do that for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he and I don't know the character's name, but Tiffany Amber Thiessen's character eventually get married?
Mm-hmm.
Such a garbage human.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like unbelievably garbage. One of the ones that I remember watching was like, do you remember when Zach Morris dated and made fun of a handicapped woman?
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So they like give like a brief description of the episode and then dive into all the horrible things he did.
Mm-hmm.
So the school opens up a self-help call line.
Yeah.
That of course Zach Morris is helping run. And there are like 3 rules for the self-help or for the helpline. It's don't give your name, don't ask for any personal information on their part. I don't remember the 3rd rule, but Zach obviously breaks all 3.
Yeah.
Because he answers the first call he gets. He's like, "Oh, you have a cute voice. What's your name?" She gives her name. She's like, "Oh, you want to go on a date?" Oh. So they go on a date, and she's already there. And so Zach like goes, says hi, and then she like wheels out, and she's paralyzed from the waist down. And he like can't stop talking about it. He's like, "I'm okay with it, but the world isn't okay that you're half a person." And it was,
oh my God.
yeah.
You could have said
the 80s.
You could have said like, oh yeah, like there was that one episode where like Zach Morris gives a blowjob to the captain of the football team and then outs him and like queer bashes him for the entire thing. Like, yeah, that's something that Zach Morris would do.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he's a trash person and he
trash
deserves to be
human.
outed for how bad of a person he is.
What a horrible, horrible character.
Yes.
Speaking of that, are you totally gonna go to the Saved by the Bell themed restaurant when it
It's sold
opens?
out. It's sold out so fast.
Is it actually sold out? Sold out?
Yeah.
But I mean, is it gonna be like the Cantina bar where like the initial run is sold out and then they'll just keep it open for a long time? We can eventually just walk in.
I don't know because I think it's like a super exclusive. Because like the big one that everyone wanted to do was go eat at the restaurant, which I already forgot the name of.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's only like from the sound of it, it's only one table.
What?
So it's only like one meal at a time. Like it's a super fancy, I guess supposedly it's like a really like nice thing.
What?
Yeah.
Because like they've been building that damn thing for months.
I know.
Because it's right next to my Target.
This might be the one that's in Santa Monica.
Okay, because they're doing the one.
They're doing
just
one here.
right in here
Yeah.
in West Hollywood. Yeah,
I think this one will probably be easier to get into.
I'll go to that one instead.
Yeah.
I can just walk there. Yeah.
Oh, I guess my other bat plug, just because I've been listening to the song nonstop, I'll do a music plug. So I don't do that very often.
Oh, okay.
We got the first song off of the Mean Girls the musical soundtrack.
Oh, we did.
And it's so good. It's called "I'd Rather Be Me,"
Mm-hmm.
and it's the song after like all the girls fight towards the end of Mean Girls,
Oh my god, what?
and it's so good.
Oh my, I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah, it's sung by Janice. It's god,
Janice.
I've probably listened to it 35 times.
Doesn't surprise me.
It's so good.
Does not surprise me at all.
I'm so excited for this
right.
this musical.
Is it coming to LA? I'm sure eventually we'll come to
Yeah,
LA.
in like 7 years.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it does take a long time for things to get here. God damn it.
I know.
We can always just go to New York.
We could.
Yeah.
I'm trying right now.
Oh yeah.
So I found out you can in like oh god, what's the website? I don't remember anymore.
Airbnb.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, I was just a guess.
No, not that one.
Oh.
You can every Friday you can apply to get cheap tickets to go see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Oh, okay.
For that week. So for the following from that Friday to next Friday.
Yeah.
So if I started putting my name in to the raffle, and if I win, that means I have to buy like a day of ticket to New York.
Oh my god. Well,
But totally worth it.
totally worth it.
Because like regular Cursed Child tickets are $400 for each part because it's a 2-part play.
Yeah.
If you win the raffle, it's $80 for both.
Jesus Christ.
So that covers the flight.
Well, may the odds be ever in your favor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What do you have to plug?
God, not a lot really. Again, I haven't had a lot of time this week. I guess I will plug there's a really funny drag brunch sketch from John Mulaney on Saturday Night Live that I watched. I'll plug that. It was pretty good. That, and then I guess I'll also do a musical one. Not a literal musical, but adjective music.
Great. You're killing it.
So good. I spent the entire week listening to Alan Silvestri's Back to the Future trilogy scores while at work.
Amazing.
They're so good. They're so amazing. So yeah, I have to listen to soundtracks in chronological order. It bugs me to no end that a lot of soundtracks don't do that. Like John Williams infamously will not put out, like he'll put it out in order that like
He just won't put out.
He just won't put out at all. I know. God, just blue balling us.
Always.
Johnny W. Ugh.
Just don't ever call him.
Do you ever have those moments when you just immediately hate yourself?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it mostly happens on this. But
I'll share a joke after.
Okay.
It would be too bad.
Too much?
It's too much for an on-air joke.
But yeah, like all of his Star Wars albums aren't in chronological order, and so the great thing is there's a blog that just has a list of like every movie soundtrack in chronological order. So I just go and like reorganize them into a Spotify playlist so that I can list them in order because I need to do that because it really bothers me if it's not.
It's fine.
But those are fantastic scores, man. Fantastic scores. Highly recommend listening to those.
Great.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Great. We're at hour 15.
So
do we want to do letters?
Yes, we have just enough time. We put it off last week. So
Okay.
the funny thing is that when we recorded last week, it ran like an hour and 40, and we kept talking about how long it was. I actually cut out 20 minutes of it.
Okay.
So the final version was like a normal length episode.
Okay.
But no, I did say that we would do this week because I have a list of people who have been like sending us in like questions or just like comments and that sort of thing. So we're gonna go through a few of them real quick. So our good friend Sam Gash,
Sam Cash.
he wrote in because when we were doing, I think it was the Cult of the Cat episode, we make a reference to animal transformations. We had a whole discussion about if there have ever been any good animal transformation stories. His retort was Harry Potter.
That's true.
Now hang on. I would argue that's not an animal transformation story.
It's a part of it of a bigger
yeah,
story.
I mean, I think we were talking more like Teen Wolf and the Wolf Man and like some of those things. Because I agree that I think that the animagus parts of Harry Potter are done really well.
Yeah.
And I think 3 in general is one of the best stories, both movie and book. But I don't know if I would count that quite as an animal transformation story.
Unless we do just the story of, what are the four of them?
Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs.
Yeah. Do they have do they have a group name?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think they do, no.
I'm really embarrassing myself right now.
Yeah, you are. This is even more embarrassing than Richie Rich's Christmas Wish, Cameron.
I'm not embarrassed by that. Yeah, Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prague.
Prongs. Not Prague.
Prague.
The city.
The city.
Yeah. It's the rest of them out for a jolly old time in the city of Prague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It stars, who's the actor that plays Johnny English?
Rowan Atkinson.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I only went with that reference because I saw the trailer recently.
Oh, I haven't bothered with it.
Okay. I would have said Mr. Bean. I thought you were going to make fun of me for not picking Mr. Bean as the reference.
No, I appreciate you not knowing what his name is, but trying. You tried.
Yeah, he's in that movie.
Yeah. It's him, Steve Coogan, and Rafe Spall.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you focus on the story of the four of them, it's an animal transformation story.
It is, and obviously that's a bigger part of the book, especially in the
Yeah.
movie. It's kind of just glossed over. But yeah, I mean, well, Sam will give you half points on that.
Yeah.
You're not entirely wrong. Yes.
You get 100% for
what?
participation.
You know what? I will say this. You were, I think, like thematically correct, but technically wrong. And being technically right is the most important kind of right.
That's what we aim for
all the time. So that was one.
So for animal transformations, can it go from animal to human?
So like, what's an example of that?
Power Rangers.
What?
The 5 animorphs, Zoids come together to make the human Zoid.
That's not the same thing. That's an assembly. Come on, Cameron.
Zoid, the anime Zoids.
What?
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop.
God, I'll never be able to keep up with you on this. So then also, one of our listeners, we correspond occasionally on Instagram, Ashley Clark, aka Pretty Dang Nerdy. She wrote to us because she listened to the episode where I plugged the Vox Media Today Explained podcast, and I specifically referenced the episode about the West Virginia teachers strike, and she wrote out to thank us for referencing it. She actually participated in that, which actually that's awesome that you participated. Shitty that you had to, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like that more or less worked out, and if it hasn't quite, I certainly hope it does. So...
I think it's gotten a little better. I know.
think so. Yeah, I think like some.
Well, I know that story kind of got trumped by the Oklahoma story, which was the exact same thing.
Yeah, like Oklahoma kind of took the lead after West Virginia, and yeah, because Vox did another episode about Oklahoma. Like, yeah, we're coming back around to this.
Yeah.
But no, like it's so stupid. Like, education is like one of the like probably if there's one thing that we should really be working on to fix, it's education, because that has effects on literally everything else.
Right.
Yeah. It's God damn it.
If
trash world we live in.
I know. If Super Troopers 2.
Oh, well, don't worry, we're back on brand.
Only had
we got dangerously close to being serious for a second, Cameron. Thank you for bringing us back.
Oh, if I could take away one thing from Super Troopers 2, it was because the story is Canada and the U.S. fighting and just making a bunch of amazing Canada and U.S. jokes.
I know. I do want to see that, actually.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
They do have one like great rant joke about how Canada with our free education and like what does that do? And he's like, well, none of us believe the Earth is flat. None of us believe that vaccines are dangerous. None of us believe and they just like list all
the whole things.
Yeah. And I'm like. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Fair point. Education. It's an important thing.
Get connected.
Yeah.
For free. An education connection.
Yeah. Oh, I also had a question for you from Paul Hill, and he was wondering, did it bother you that they combined the various Green Lantern origins when they did in Brightest Day? Because we talked about this, they mashed up Kyle Rayner and Hal Jordan. Did it bug you? Because I know that you have such a fond affinity for Kyle Rayner's specific backstory.
I do. I feel like they had to, because you can't really give the Kyle Rayner backstory without already having set up the rest of the Green Lantern universe.
Yeah.
Because he becomes a Green Lantern because the rest of them are dead.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I think that's fair. I think that it's a
and if they tried to do it that way, I'm trying to think of like the smallest amount of story beats you need to get from A to B, A to C, whatever. It would be like planet explode. It'd basically be the Superman's intro again.
Yeah.
It's planet blows up. You see one ring fly down, or you'd see like Ganthet being like, "Go get the true hero," and then the ring would fly to Earth, and then you have the normal story again. But then you wouldn't have anyone to teach him about it, or anywhere for him to really go from there.
It's one of those stories that only works when you have established history and also established understanding from the audience. Like, I feel like they could have maybe done it towards the end of Justice League, or maybe in JLU, they could have done a version of that story.
Yeah.
And then had there been one Green Lantern left, and maybe done like an offshoot of him trying to go off and start a new version of that.
Yeah.
Like that could have been a way to like wrap up like a Green Lantern arc. But yeah, it'd be hard to do in like a single episode. You need to have had a lot of history there to make that work.
One of the comparisons I would make to it would be like every version of Flash gets the Barry Allen.
Origin.
Yeah, origin.
Yeah, well, I think Wally West has the Barry Allen origin.
Yeah, I mean Wally's origin is he was trying to replicate Barry's origin.
Yeah, worked for him.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think, that is an interesting story arc. I haven't read those comics, but it's one that I would like to see adapted. They might be able to pull it off as a direct animated film.
The Kyle Rayner intro?
Yeah, I think they could.
I think their window to do that, which I think they might have missed now, would have been the Green Lantern series, which looked. I hated the animation quality of it, but I loved the stories.
I heard the storytelling is pretty good in that. Yeah.
Mainly just because there was a Blue Lantern in it.
Oh, of course. I think it could be done, but yeah, it requires a lot of work and a lot of history that's hard to do in like the first act of something.
Yeah.
So, one other one here. We got I think it was a tweet. I didn't write down where it came from, but Preston Walker sent us a photo because he started his own podcast called Dat Bullshit.
Is it all about us?
SHYT. Yeah, it's just about how terrible we are at doing podcasts.
Great.
Yeah.
Got a lot of content for him.
But he started his own podcast, which always we appreciate, obviously, because if we two idiots can do it, anyone can.
Anyone can, really.
And he set this pretty sweet bat cave, so like a big Batman mural behind it, and like some other cool like bat swag. And so he referenced us as well as our friends at the DCO Watchtower. So that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Great job on getting it started, because obviously the hardest step is just starting.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Once the momentum goes, like at this point, we basically just do this because we have to.
Yeah.
I mean, we enjoy doing it, but there was those weeks where it's like, fuck, when are we going to find time to do this?
But also, if you remember, like, it took us months, like 6 months, we were just talking about doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm in the middle of this right now, like trying to start up a second podcast, and it's hard to get that. Once it goes, it just runs, but the initial like runway takes a long time to get everything in place.
Yeah.
So I've also learned how to do things the right way the second time around.
Right.
So
yeah,
taking my sweet time.
It's like, I'm not going to make the joke. Sorry. I was going to make a Fast and Furious joke, but I feel like
please.
I've messed with you enough this episode.
Please, thank you. Okay, and then so another thing real quick.
The runway as long as the runway from Fast and Furious 6.
And then, of course, it wouldn't be an episode of Tim Talk if we didn't once again call out our good old friends at the DCA Watchtower. This time specifically, this is a week late, but thank you guys for pointing out all the history of John Stewart. Because we were asking, like, how long was he Green Lantern? Was Green Lantern before Kyle Rayner? And based off their understanding that he could have been Green Lantern starting as maybe as early as the 80s. And that that Kat Matui trained him, a character we meet later on in Justice League.
Yeah.
And now she's training Kyle Rayner. And that also we were wondering, like, well, where does Abin Sur fit into all this? And so based off their understanding is that John and Abin Sur probably overlapped at some point as Green Lanterns for Sector 2814. And that I guess it's actually Kat Matui and Sinestro are from the same planet of Korugar, but Abin Sur is from a different planet. It's called Ungara. So even though they look a lot alike, they're not from the same planet.
Good. Great.
Thank God they know so much more than we do.
Those messages really showed how we don't deserve a podcast.
We don't deserve our own podcasts. No, especially when some of us get the episode titles wrong in
Only
the
sometimes.
artwork.
Only sometimes.
All right, and then one last thing. Recently discovered another podcast about Batman, specifically Batman Beyond, called Above and Batman Beyond, and so they focus on just that series. And so we're catching up with you guys soon. We're getting very close to doing Batman Beyond, and so maybe when we get there, we can do something cool with you guys.
Yeah.
But it's awesome. It's cool that we've got this whole like DCAU little
Community.
like, podcast assembly. It's awesome.
Yeah. We could start the Justice League podcast.
Oh my god. Yeah, we can form our own little team.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, along those lines,
Which would we be the Aquaman of that?
Oh,
of that Justice League?
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, they only call us in on occasion if the podcast has to be recorded near water. There's a possibility that maybe they could use our help.
Yeah,
that's the only time they call us in. Otherwise, like, you know what, we got this.
I think we'll be. I'd rather be like the Stars and Stripes.
I think, let's be honest, we're like the Booster Gold.
Yes. Oh, that's the greatest compliment ever.
It's the
greatest. The Booster Gold / the Elastic Man or Plastic Man.
The greatest backhanded compliment about ourselves.
Yes,
we can muster. But one other quick little announcements / like point of order. So starting last week, I stopped including our Nerd School Network sponsors and the bumper, because the Nerdist School Network no longer exists. Because the Nerdist School no longer exists, it's now called the Ruby. It occupies the same space.
It's a great place for anyone in LA.
It is, yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah, it's the same spot next to the now defunct Meltdown.
I drove by it the other day and it broke my heart.
It's really sad.
It's
it's such a bummer. But yeah, it's like the school rebranded itself as the Ruby, and it's it's specifically like inclusive and especially like female inclusive like comedy school, and it's a whole new thing, which is great. So we're figuring out what the network will look like going forward. Honestly, it doesn't make a difference at this point. Yeah. We'll just have to come up with a different name for our crossover episode next week. But otherwise, it's basically the same. But just for the meantime, I'm just going to stop including those because it doesn't really exist anymore. I'm not even sure what podcasters are left on our network. So we are figuring that out.
Yes,
but that's just a minor cosmetic change that most of you probably won't even notice because it's at the end of the episode. I'm sure you just jump to the next podcast.
Yeah,
don't listen to it anyways.
It's fine.
Yeah. But that is it. So we did it. And we did take time this week because I really did want to acknowledge how much I appreciate it when people do in and write to us. And I'm trying to do this as a more regular thing of actually like corresponding and letting you know we appreciate the interaction there. So please do reach out to us.
Yes.
Please do reach out to us.
Please tell us what we, specifically me, Cameron, got wrong.
Mostly his taste in Richie Rich films.
Richard Christmas is a gift.
Is it a gift under the tree to unwrap on a cold Christmas day, Cameron?
Yes. And if you've ever watched the ABC Family's 25 Days of Christmas / Freeform's 25 Days of Christmas, it plays at least 4 times.
That is sad.
Yes.
It's probably because it's a lot cheaper to license than better Christmas movies.
Exactly.
Like Tim Allen's The Santa Claus.
Oh, that's almost like a daily movie. No, I think Elf is like an every other day movie at this point in 25 Days of Christmas. It's almost as bad as Freeform's 13 Nights of Halloween, where now Hocus Pocus, when I worked on it last Halloween, Hocus Pocus played 10 of the 13 nights. Yeah.
It's impressive. It's a great film. Actually, it's not, but it's fun. It's fun. It's terrible, but it's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah. But yes, we are at Tim Talk Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Gmail. I am personally at Lordifer on Instagram and Twitter.
If you want to see my art, which will be updated someday, it's at Cameron.Dexter. If you want to see my face, I'll have a lot of Dapper Day photos coming out shortly because it's Dapper Day.
Yeah.
You can find that at CamDexter_adventures. And if you want to see my apparel, we just had Wally shirts come out.
Yes. Oh my God, I love the Wally shirts.
And we're teasing the next shirt next week. You can find that at Core Memories Co. on Instagram. Everything on Instagram.
Yeah.
Fuck any other social media platform.
Yeah, I barely ever use Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Is that it?
That's it.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.